Quantifying the wealth transferred from African colonies to Europe involves calculating the present-day market value of raw materials, the unpaid labor of millions, and the lost economic potential of the continent. While total estimates vary, economists often place the aggregate drain in the tens of trillions of dollars. The transatlantic slave trade, human capital. Estimates for reparations for the 12.5 million Africans kidnapped into the slave trade reach $100 trillion in modern value. This represents not just the sale price of humans, but centuries of stolen labor that built the banking, insurance, and textile industries of Europe while depleting Africa's most productive demographic. South African gold, Witwatersrand Basin. Since 1886, the Witwatersrand has produced approximately 2 billion ounces of gold, nearly 40% of all gold ever mined. Under British colonial rule, this wealth was systematically extracted using cheap, migrant labor. At current prices of roughly $2,300 per ounce, this single resource transfer exceeds $4.6 trillion. The diamond rush of the 1860s birthed the De Beers monopoly. By 1914, the Kimberley mines alone had produced 14.5 million carats. Total colonial-era diamond extraction from South Africa, Namibia, and Sierra Leone is valued in the hundreds of billions, financing vast European corporate empires and colonial expansions. Congolese rubber, the red rubber system. King Leopold II extracted a personal fortune of roughly $1.1 billion to $2 billion, modern USD, from the Congo Free State. This was achieved through a reign of terror where millions of Congolese were forced to harvest wild rubber. The human cost, estimated at 10 million deaths, is economically immeasurable. Katanga copper and cobalt. The Belgian Congo's Katanga region became the world's primary source of copper and cobalt in the early 20th century. Managed by the Union Minière, these minerals powered Europe's electrical and military revolutions. Modern estimates of the historical extraction of these industrial base metals exceed $500 billion in current value. West African palm oil. Known as the lubricant of the Industrial Revolution, palm oil from Nigeria and Ghana was essential for European machinery and soap production, e.g., Lever Brothers Unilever. This legitimate trade replaced the slave trade, transferring billions in agricultural value to European manufacturers while suppressing local industrialization in Africa. West African cocoa. Colonial administrations in Ghana, Gold Coast, and Ivory Coast turned the region into the world's cocoa hub. By the 1920s, half of global cocoa came from these colonies. The value transfer includes the difference between the low farm gate prices paid to Africans and the high-value chocolate markets developed in Europe. Uranium, Shinkolobwe mine. The Shinkolobwe mine in the DRC provided 68% of the uranium used in the Manhattan Project to build the first atomic bombs. While the US and UK paid roughly $37.5 million in 1944, approximate $700 million today, the strategic value and total output during the Cold War reached multi-billion-dollar levels. Land seizure and cattle, settler colonialism. In Kenya, Zimbabwe, and Namibia, millions of acres of fertile white highlands were seized from indigenous populations. In Namibia alone, Germany seized nearly all Hera cattle and land. The present-day value of this stolen real estate and livestock assets is estimated in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Colonial taxation, the Hutt tax. European powers imposed Hutt taxes and poll taxes to force Africans into the cash economy and thus into mines and plantations. These taxes didn't just fund colonial administrations, they acted as a massive direct cash transfer from impoverished African households to European treasuries, totaling billions in modern currency.